Hello, and welcome to the RightNOW podcast. My name is Derek Diston, Senior Director of Customer Experience here at Rightworks. You know, the accounting profession goes back over 7,000 years. It can trace its roots back to ancient Mesopotamia. And in the last 7 millennia, there have certainly been a lot of changes to what we would consider accountancy and bookkeeping today. I'm very thankful that you've joined me today and tuned in. I'm especially thankful for the opportunity to speak to a number of folks across the industry who have some thoughts on the evolution that we have seen and continue to see within this great profession. Joining me today is Justin Kebnick. He's a group leader in the accountant division at Intuit. Justin, thanks for joining me.
Hey, great to be here, Derek. Thrilled to be here.
I'm looking forward to some great conversations. So let me start off with just a very generic question for you. What, in your mind, is the biggest change that we've seen in accountancy in, let's say, the last 5 years?
Probably the biggest one is just the whole people situation. You know, very simply put, having enough of them, having the right ones, finding the right ones, adapting your staffing strategy are all just critical to the changing landscape that we're in. And so it really can require that firms are looking a lot deeper at the type of work that the firm is doing. And then I would say the other one is just like the rapid pace of technology. There's just so much happening relative to that. When I think about the ability for a firm to embrace new technology, lean into it, and the decisions and the leadership that's required within the firm to make those decisions and be forward thinking are some of the big things that we've seen happen over the last few years.
So when you look at this from your position with Intuit, where and how is Intuit looking to make some forays into solving some of these problems?
You know, if we're truly going to be partners to the most valuable customers that we serve, which are our accountant partners, then we have to think holistically about what it is they're trying to do and be on that journey with them and even help guide that journey around how they can improve their practice. And so what it comes down to is just really understanding what are the things that need to be true in order for you to be successful. Forget about the technology. Let's just have a broad conversation around what it's going to require within your firm to make the jumps to satisfy the change that's happening in the industry and ensure that your practice is going to be successful well into the future.
What are those steps? I mean, you've obviously seen this in conversations with partners that you have. What are the steps that someone would want to take?
Yeah, so I think it's first defining what success looks like. You know, what do we want to be doing, and what are our financial goals? What are our people goals? What are our market share goals? And getting like tops down alignment on what your true north is. And then it's really like from there, it's deciding, okay, so what are those critical pillars that we need to rally around that are going to allow that to be possible? And so we start to define or help firms define, maybe it's, understanding how to automate things. Maybe it's understanding how to do more with less. Maybe it's understanding how to think through how to stand up specific advisory verticals where we can create bigger impact for clients and their bottom line. And it's also, who are your clients? Who do we want to serve into the future? And what does that look like? And what's the type of client that we think we can have the biggest impact on?
So you've listed a couple of great first steps, right? Defining the goals, identifying your ICPs, defining what is your true north. If I do those things, what sort of results can I expect to see if I am successful?
There's a lot you can do. You can drive a tremendous impact with specific industry verticals that you might choose to focus on. You could choose to be the world's greatest compliance engine and just serve that purpose. You could say, I want to be the very best I can be in a specific niche like construction or nonprofit or something like that. But it's, the sky's the limit of what you can do. And the reason that this is all becoming possible is because of the age of technology that we're in too, because it's allowing us to do more with less and remove barriers that didn't exist before. Our vision at Intuit is books are done. I mean, we don't want that to even necessarily be something you're thinking about into the future in terms of the workload that you do. And instead, how do we repurpose the talent and this new generation of people wanting to be in this industry to do this more impactful work for high value customers and drive huge impacts? Or take somebody from the very infancy of their business and take them to a new plateau.
Help them grow. They'll be happy and want to remain with you, etc. Okay, so you mentioned technology is helping to remove some of the barriers that existed. Like what? What type of barriers existed? What technology is helping to remove this?
Yeah, I mean, when I think about the single biggest barrier that exists out there, it's two words. It's cash flow. And it's like, how do we help our clients improve cash flow? And so if you think about the goal, right? Like, what do we want to do? We want to make our clients successful. And that comes through top line, bottom line results. And we want to, at Intuit, we realize the single biggest challenge in the marketplace, it has the umbrella of cash flow all around it. And so everything that we do from a product development standpoint starts with cash flow. And so we think about the single biggest problems that exist in the industry. And you might see me referencing a list here momentarily, because there's a lot we're trying to do, but we're trying to do it in a cohesive way where this is now a platform for you to be successful on. It's not a point solution. It's not just about QuickBooks. It's about how we serve the customer's needs in areas like the number one problem, how do I gain more customers? How do I fill top of funnel? How do I get paid faster? Creating a suite of money solutions that help bills get paid, bill pay management, and accounts receivable management. How do I gain access to capital easier? Enabling cash flow, improving AR balances, thinking about how do we use QuickBooks for assisted underwriting and streamline that whole process to make that whole thing happen a lot faster? How do we help our workers? How do we create a robust human capital solution, a workforce solution that helps us manage the single largest line item expense in any business? Talk about cash flow. If we can do better there, that's a huge lift. Gaining access to advice. There is a network of brilliant people in this industry. What we can help do is be a matchmaker and help connect them to the people that need that help most. And then lastly, compliance. Let's not forget about the importance of compliance, but it's so much more today, because what we're thinking about is a complete end-to-end solution that didn't exist yesterday. How do we take books done through the tax process in an automated way and drive advisory on the other side of it that's impactful, in forward-thinking advisory and planning? And so those are a few of the big problems that we're seeking to solve. And as I mentioned before, we're trying to do it cohesively as one platform solution, completely integrated together end to end. And the glue or the mortar that fits between each of those bricks I just mentioned is going to be AI. And that is what's going to allow much of this to happen in a very streamlined way and in a way that is forward thinking and in the face of the people that need the information the most when they need it.
All right, you open Pandora's box. Let's talk about it. What are the challenges and pitfalls that Intuit is looking at as it relates to AI? Because we know it's not perfect right now.
It is not perfect. There is much work to do. There is massive investment happening around it. I won't pretend to have all the answers because I don't think anybody does. What I can tell you is that I'm proud to be a part of a company who saw this as an opportunity 5 years ago when AI was just kind of like maybe more conceptual at that point. And we made a bold commitment at that time to start investing then, so that when the maturity of this metamorphosis that's happening in the industry is now here in front of us, we're far better prepared than we've ever been before to leverage it in a safe way, leverage it in a way that serves clients and doesn't put them at risk, and be thinking about how can we boldly do things to change the trajectory, create game-changing results, not just results, but how do we take people to a new plateau? But your point is valid. It is a risk. Nothing is perfect about it, and we've got to work through those issues. But here's how we're going to do it together: by communicating with the industry, by being a liaison and having that connectivity with the people that lead in this industry, so that we can know and hear from our practice leaders. Don't go there, go here. This is where we need help, not there. And so what we're very committed to is being great partners to our strategic accounting firms and making sure that we're listening. And so if you haven't heard from us, you're probably going to, and we want to do a lot more listening into the future.
So what are some of the, where are some of the destinations that your strategic partners are sending you right now that are saying, hey, this is where we need that assistance? Like, what are the pain points that you see in the industry right now?
The biggest single one is the change management that I talked about earlier. It's like, yes, if we could snap our fingers and move to the cloud and have all of this automation, we would probably do it because we all agree it's a good idea. But how do you get from A to B? It's a much more complex web of challenge, right? It's not, and it's certainly not just about the technology that I mentioned before. It's about, hey, do we have alignment within the practice? Do our practice leaders agree that we need to move at the same pace to solve these problems? I think that's A. And that requires forward-thinking leadership. And so a lot of what we're seeing is that we need to help lead in the industry by creating an infrastructure and a path to make this change management easier. And that includes things like training, guidance, helping people acclimate to new solutions, helping your clients acclimate to new solutions, and not doing it in a way that takes more resources for your firm that you don't already have to go on this journey. And so we've got to think about how we help enable that in a way that makes this easier. And if I had an easy button, we would have already hit it. But that's what we're working on creating.
Justin, a couple of quick questions here to wind this up. And these are questions that I've asked of all of my guests. So I'm going to preface it this way. I want you to imagine that you and I have a time machine that we can step into in a moment. And I want you to forget science fiction, science fact, forget all the things. Just go with me on this journey real quick. We're going to press the easy button. It's going to take us back in time 10 years. And we're going to open the doors and you're going to be face to face with yourself 10 years ago. Now there's a timer on this. You've got 30 seconds before you get whooshed back into the time machine, but you can give yourself one piece of advice. What advice are you going to give yourself 10 years younger?
Well, Derek, you might not like this answer, but the truth is we are trying to not live in the past. Our team is focused on the opportunity in front of us and what we have right here, right now to be a part of and to live within. And so we're going to spend our energy there. And that's what I'm going to do too.
Okay. Well, you might not answer the next question then, and that's okay. But whoosh, you get sucked back into the time machine. We time travel from that point 20 years into the future, or it's 10 years for you and I right now, and the door is going to open and you're going to be face to face with yourself 10 years older. Same rules, 30 seconds. What one question are you going to ask of yourself?
Well, first I'm going to say thank you to myself, right? Because of all the passion and energy that you brought over the last 10 years. And I'm going to take a moment to have a little bit of gratitude for making it that far. But then I'm going to say, what's next? How will we develop a plan to go get what's next together as an industry?
You're a man who's very focused on helping to deliver solutions in the here and now, and I appreciate hearing all that, Justin.
It's awesome to be here, and I really appreciate you being so thoughtful about your questions, and your passion for this industry comes through too, and in these questions.
I want to thank you again, Justin, for your time, and I want to thank you, dear listener, for tuning in today. Putting a spin on an ancient proverb, the best time to have prepared for the future was many years ago. The second best time is right now. Please be sure to join us in Austin, Texas, May 14th through the 16th for Right Now, the essential event for accountants and bookkeepers. For more information, visit www.rightworks.com/rightnow. Thank you for tuning in. Keep practicing. Keep moving forward. Listen to Justin's advice. Have gratitude. Focus on the present. And ask yourself what's next. Justin, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's mine. This was awesome. And I'm very excited about where we're going.